solo one-on-one panel with, you may recognize as Aki from Chainsaw Man specifically, one, Reagan Murdock.
Wow.
Beautiful. It kind of, you sink, right?
Yeah, you do sink quite
As someone like much shorter, it kind of like makes me feel a little childish because like it doesn't really fall to the ground. Sad.
You know, there's this one workout machine in the gym that I go to, but like it's like a chest press thing, but like to get like situated into it, your feet are dangling like so far off the ground. You feel like you're in a high chair doing it.
Too vulnerable.
Yeah,
Don't like that. That's why I don't go to the gym.
Same thing.
So this is a Q&A panel. If you guys have any questions, anything you'd like to say, ask, or just get a little chat while you're here, it's impromptu time. I see him looking at her very directly. Otherwise, I know you are from Dallas, Texas, but I don't know your origin in voice acting. If you want to talk a little bit about what got you in this field of work per se.
You're a lot.
You can tell by your voice already. But continue.
For sure. So I guess we start when I was a very little kid. I would always, when we were watching cartoons, of course, when you want to, make your parents, laugh and everything, of course, the way to do that is to sound as close to the characters on screen as you possibly can. So mimicry was something that I enjoyed quite a lot as a child. I'm sure I annoyed my parents quite a lot. But then I wasn't planning on doing acting at all. It was just something I did, at school and whatever, because that's what got me positive attention. And then, when I turned 16, I got this voice out of the deal, and all of a sudden people were telling me that I need to be on the radio, doing this, that, and the other thing, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know, not really. But it was around that time I was getting into this this obscure little show that my friends from my Taekwondo classes told me about. It's I don't know if you've heard of this. It's called Naruto, something like that.
It's got to be a deep cut anime. I don't think I've heard of that one.
I don't know. It was you had to have been there. But yeah, it was around that time that I found out that Funimation, their studios were all in Dallas, like 10 minutes from my house. So I was like, so I don't have to move halfway across the country and spend like 90% of my paycheck on rent. Okay, we can do that. Long, lengthy, and very painful process trying to break into the industry. Did a lot of amateur work over the internet. Went and worked for a cartoon mouse in Florida for a little bit.
Ooh, no name mentioned.
Yeah, we don't need to. We don't need to talk about it. And then just audition after audition, year after year, rejection after rejection. But you can't really make it into this industry unless this is what you want to do, and basically nothing else. So if you can see yourself doing literally anything else, do it. So that's started booking stuff, I'd say like 3 or so years ago, and not too long after that, that got the call that I was going to be in Chainsaw Man, and changed the whole life trajectory from there. So.
There you go. I mean, on that note, and also, I've heard every single person, the first thing they mention about voice acting is breaking into the industry. That has got to be brutal. It is a whole different kind of brutal. I can only imagine.
It's a whole thing. You basically, you have to either, know somebody who's already on the inside or work with somebody on the periphery, because I didn't get into Funimation at all until there was this director who got me in for this show called Mars Red, and she, when I was, finished, I was just, saying, just thank you for giving me this chance, and, all the rest of it, and she was saying, yeah, I didn't know anything about you, so I called up this other studio who you've done work with before, and they were just like, hey, is this Reagan guy a total psycho? No, okay, well then there we go.
That's all we need. Nice. That being said, you did mention Chainsaw Man, and I know there's a lot of hot discussion about a potential movie coming up, and if somebody else isn't going to ask it, I'm going to ask it. Is there anything that you can disclose that won't get you sued?
Suits aren't the big thing, it's more keeping my job. I would love to talk about specific things that are going to happen in this story, but Mappa is very tight-lipped on that. I will say there are a lot of feelings coming your way. if you thought that season 1 ripped your heart out, you sweet summer children. No, it's a genuinely fantastic storytelling. This whole Blonde Girl arc, oh my gosh, I love her character. I love the stuff that goes on with Aki. Denji's got an amazing character arc in this too. One thing that I think I won't get in trouble for disclosing, if you're a fan of Power, not gonna.
I know enough to just like stop you from talking.
Oh no,
Oh no.
It's more like you might not see as much of her as you would like to. That's all I would say.
Okay, that's for our listeners.
Yeah.
Got a little heart attack there. I'm like, are you sure you're ready?
Okay. You were about to say my job, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no kidding. Okay, well, I mean, that being said, talking about the process of getting into voice acting for animation and how there is so many roles that you have landed, and we do know before, but I know that there's like, what was the beginning? What were the first few roles that made you feel like I'm starting to actually get something with this? It's going somewhere.
Yeah, I kind of got jumped into the deep end because that show I was mentioning earlier, the other studio who I needed to work with first, we did this show called Actors Songs Connection, and it was actually a pretty interesting premise about well, I actually can't really talk that much without spoiling it, but if you like kind of musically oriented anime, we did all of the songs, we dubbed all of them. Really interesting, like kind of set, not, I don't know, I guess we call it like a technology, like mystery combined with a sort of matrixy stuff going on, but it's all like under the veneer of this like high school drama, like sort of slice of life sort of thing. It's kind of interesting. And then first rule of Funimation was this show called Mars Red, because I knew when I got the audition, because the side said English and Scottish accent, set in the 1920s, and it's about vampires. And I'm just like, if I do not get this, I will not get anything. And thankfully I did. That was a lot of fun. There was this other show called Talked Opus Destiny. That was a really interesting one. It's another one about classical music, actually. And it's like you got these magical girls that like are all based on like classical compositions. Gosh, there's so many great people in it. Emmy Lowe, Jason Liebrecht, Alexis Tipton. It was all directed by Caitlin Glass. Really, really great show. And I got to play the kind of mentor-ish sort of character. Also a very fabulous gentleman, if I might say so. Yeah, really, really great stuff. I've loved working with Caitlin, especially. She's been a bit of a mentor for me, from the beginning. Really, can't say enough good things about her.
That's awesome. So, given the last two that you mentioned, it sounds like, are you musically trained?
Yeah. So I guess I forgot to mention that in the lore dump. I went to college at UT Austin, so I'm a Longhorn fan who actually went there. It was. So at first I was only studying acting, but then I was like, well, I've enjoyed doing musical theater, for a while, might as well, keep those chops brushed up. And so I went to the music school because they can offer voice lessons to non-majors. And the voice professor heard me and she was just like, I think I know who I'm gonna pair you with. And so I go in up to the voice department to meet my new professor, and he walks out and he is one of the largest, most Russian men I've ever met in my life. I've known a few Russian men. This guy was Russian with a capital R. He walks out and before, saying really anything, hello, how are you, he says, okay, you know what means resonance. You are in your car, you pull up to stoplight, some idiot is sitting next to you, he have his music way too loud, what you hear? You don't hear high parts, you hear boom, boom, boom. This is resonance, this is what I teach you. Okay, we start with the warm-up, and then 3 years later I had a degree.
Amazing!
Yeah,
Great teacher.
That's how I learned how to sing opera, yeah.
That's awesome. So, given that, have you just been in Dallas? Like, have you stayed in Dallas? Have you gone elsewhere?
Pretty much, yeah, mostly in
We
Dallas.
love a Texan. Yes, sir.
Don't worry, I hate the Cowboys.
Okay. Well, I think we're good. Nobody got up and like started coming to the stage.
Yeah, we got them going, but maybe they're just as disappointed about the Mavericks as I am.
Well, that being said, bringing you back to voice acting specifically, like the roles that you've done, what is the role that you consider one that was to either strenuous or just in terms of storyline? You were like, okay, well, if this comes back around, I don't really care if it happens. I want hot takes.
Oh, God. Jeez. Oh, that might get me into some trouble.
Oh, yeah, no, like, don't lose money on this question.
Right. The thing is, with anime, just like with anything else, like 90% of what gets put out there is like stuff that everybody forgets about. Let's be entirely honest, isn't exactly the stuff that comes to the cream of the crop. You will work on a lot of stuff that will not particularly catch your interest. Some stuff that you find actively morally dubious.
That's anime for you. That's anime for you.
So if you're interested in voice acting, just know that that's going to be a thing. Let's see. There was. I just had something, didn't I? And I completely forgot about it.
It's the threat of losing money.
Exactly.
Your brain said we need to be safe.
Just to pump those brakes a little bit, yeah. There's plenty of, and no offense here, but plenty of isekais out there that if that didn't get renewed, I would not be exactly all that sad about. One show that I will say that I really do want to come back is this show. Of course, it's the ones that nobody watched. It was this banter comedy called "Don't Hurt Me, My Healer," and it was me and Bryn April, who plays Kobeni in Chainsaw Man. And it's essentially like if you think about the generic isekai is high school kid or something like that, young adult, gets all the best powers, everything comes easy to them, all the girls love them, they get all this stuff. This is basically the exact opposite. Imagine like a 30-something-year-old depressed millennial getting sucked into a video game world. That's not literally what happens, but that's basically the attitude of it. What was really fun about that show is when you're voice acting for anime, you're kind of constrained by the lip movements of the characters, they're called lip flaps. My character wore a helmet. I could do whatever I wanted. It was total freedom, yes. So basically, we took what was sort of a goofy little, flavor of the week, like little banter comedy between these two. And we basically made it into Archer, and it was so much fun.
Well, Archer shout out, yes sir.
But yeah, just it's more like it's less these two wacky people getting into adventures. Like, let's take these like two terrible people and just get them into worse scenarios and just see how much they like hate each other by the end of it. It was so much fun.
That sounds very entertaining. That sounds very fun. My follow-up question was going to be, that being said, what is the role that you think you would want to return to? And I think you just answered it for me, so nice.
I wish every day for a season 2, but I know it's never going to come, so we just need to sign affection season 2. Really.
Well, hey, they're streaming this stuff to the YouTube channel, guys. We need to get on that. That's awesome. That's interesting. You can continue.
No. That's basically it.
Okay, yeah, understandable. You can hear the Taekwondo kids training in the background.
Oh, yeah.
With that being said, being in Dallas and you had the connection with Funimation, so it makes it so much, even though it's super hard, it makes it so much easier to access and stuff like that. Have you been in Texas Cons quite frequently? Is that something that is just a part of your routine?
Like the convention stuff?
Yeah, convention.
Not super, like it was to a certain extent, but like it was mostly like, I have a bunch of friends that I met doing online voice acting like over the internet. Oh, okay, well we're all literally all over the world, so where the heck are we gonna meet up? And it was usually at a place like pretty far out of town, like a Baltimore or like a San Francisco or something, but not so much in Dallas really, which I kind of regret, but it's also like, this was back in the days when back in the days when you couldn't find anime anywhere, you had to go on YouTube, and like it was split up into 3 different parts, and the last part was only like 2 minutes long. And always they were missing part 2 of that episode. Back in the days when it really was not cool to be watching anime.
There were no shirts at Walmart or anything.
No, if I had found an anime anything at any store, I would have dropped to my knees and screamed. What about my parents were selling what? Anyway.
Very fun, very nice. I mean, that is a relevant topic that I was going to say. You started voice acting around the time, before the time that the anime boom occurred, per se, in America.
Yes.
When that boom happened, was it easier to kind of explain what you do and explain who you are? And yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah. For the longest time, you tell people, oh, I'm trying to be an actor, I'm trying to do this and that. The question is always, oh, what have you been in? And I just did not have an answer for stuff.
Been in stuff.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's just little, it's just stuff on YouTube, I guess. But yeah, now I can tell people like, oh, I'm a voice actor, and they ask, what I'm in, and I can say, have you heard of Chainsaw Man? And they actually say,
I got merch in Five Below.
Exactly, yeah. Or it's always saying, my kid really likes that, and it's just like, oh,
your kid.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be surprised at how young some of the people coming up to see Chainsaw Man.
I am actually, sadly, we love unadulterated internet. I mean, I did it too, can't blame you.
Oh no, brain rot has set in a long time ago.
Oh yeah, from birth. I mean, from the dawn of computers.
Mm-hmm.
So on the topic of anime, not necessarily pertaining to the animes that you voiced, is there an anime that got you into everything? I know Naruto is the first one.
Naruto was the first.
Very obscure anime.
Yes.
But were there other things that really draw you into the community much more than just starting out?
One of the temple ones I would say is definitely Death Note.
Oh yeah.
Especially when it comes to English voice acting in anime, it was just that really set the standard for so long. Also just a fantastically written story too. The one that remains my favorite to this day is Monster. Have any of y'all seen that one? We got one at least. Yeah. Okay. Yes. There we go. Another one. Yeah.
Okay.
This is like anime filet mignon. Like this is amazing stuff. Basically rundown of the original premise. So there's this doctor, the Japanese doctor living in Germany in the 90s, and he's a brain surgeon. He's very, very gifted, very talented at it. But the thing is, the hospital is a lot more focused on profit, a lot more on prestige.
Realistic then.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's had to, refuse, patients just because the hospital wants him to work on this, more famous or more wealthy person. And he decides one night, no, I'm not going to do that. And so he operates on this little boy who's had a gunshot wound to the head. And so he does it, and he saves the boy. But unfortunately, the hospital says, okay, well, you've disobeyed us, so now your career is kaput. You're not going anywhere. Yeah, we're not, we won't fire you. You're useful enough to keep around, but you are not going anywhere.
Oh, even worse.
So the doctor starts kind of ranting and raving, obviously very upset, says that they would be better off dead. And then, seriously, over the next few days, they start dying.
Must have been the wind.
And then you find out that little boy that he saved may or may not be the Antichrist.
Wow, I love that. The silence is like how I felt. That's beautiful.
In the book of Revelation, there's a part where like the beast receives a blow to the head, which is healed. So that's kind of
you should have caught on sooner.
Go
listen to the hospital. Wow. Cruel.
Right? Yeah, get that. That's the lesson. Get that bread.
That's the lesson. Exactly. Let the little kids suffer.
There's also a really great one. Have y'all seen Mononoke? Not Princess Mononoke. Just Mononoke. Okay, so this is a bit more than avant-garde, a little bit artsy, like very, very heavily inspired by like early Japanese theater. But it's very, very, very good. there was actually a movie of it recently that came out, and it's basically this sort of episodic, it's about this medicine seller who is being called to all these different locations all throughout Japan, and the storytelling is so interesting in how they do it with the visuals. The voice acting is fantastic. I think they only just started dubbing it, but if you want to watch it in the Japanese, it's absolutely fantastic. A little bit, you kind of have to be kind of in the right headspace. You have to be like, okay, I'm going to accept that not everything is going to. It's going to be a little bit artsy-fartsy, a little bit of that, but it's really interesting the way, because I've been to Japan once, and I went and saw a set of kabuki plays. Really fascinating. If you ever watch even just a little bit of it, you can just tell that the acting style is like the grandfather of modern anime voice acting in Japan. It's really interesting. It's oh, that sounds just like this thing from this show, and it's really cool to see.
You get the context.
You see how it evolved over time. Yeah, it's really interesting.
That's nice. So on that wing, is there a show that you had that you got into it and you're like, wait, actually this is a really good show? Got in from there, maybe.
That was pretty much Chainsaw Man for me. Going into the auditions, I knew absolutely nothing about the show. I just knew it was going to be completely insane and probably quite popular. So it's it's going to be popular. I'm a newbie actor. There is absolutely no way they're going to choose me, right? But that kind of frees you up a little bit, there's no way anyway. Might as well just,
the freedom.
Be the freedom, exactly. So I started reading the manga a little bit, just to be okay, maybe if I have context for these lines, maybe they'll pop a little bit more. Maybe they'll throw me a bit mark down the road or something. And so I start reading it. And then it gets to where Aki summons the Fox Devil, and I'm just oh no, I want this now. Which you're not supposed to do that. You are not supposed to want things.
There is no hope when it comes to endless editions.
Yes, you just go in with the assumption that you are not going to get it, and your mental health will thank you for it. Unfortunately, I really wanted this, and then. A few weeks later, I was in the middle of a shift at my day job. I was a delivery driver, and I just got an email from Mike McFarland saying, "Hey, if you have a minute, I could just give you a call about some casting information." And we had just been doing some auditions for the next arc of One Piece, and so I was just maybe it's something in One Piece. That'd be really cool. And so he just calls me, and I'm off in the break room, and he's like, "Hey, just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be directing Chainsaw Man," and I was just And he's like, "And we would like you to be our Aki," and I was just great, that sounds awesome. And then so I just had to keep it on the DL because they were my coworkers right there, and I do not want to blow this right after I got the call. So
5 minutes after.
Yeah. I ran out to my car and I just shut the door and started screaming at the top of my lungs. I was so excited. And ever since then, it's just been fantastic getting into the story more. I love the character arc for Aki, not just in season 1, but all throughout. And my fellow castmates are amazing. Ryan Holt Levy.
Necessary shout out.
Yeah, of course, yeah. If you have never met Ryan, do you know about the law of attraction, where if you keep your thoughts positive and you're kind,
bring what you deserve.
Things will generally work out for you more. That is Ryan Holt Levy in a nutshell. That is in one way. He is because I'll be honest, when I was first watching his social media profile and everything, I was just kind of okay, what is this guy really think though? He can't be this positive and nice all the time, right? And then you meet him, and no, that's just him. That's just how he is.
It's just joy.
He really is, yeah. And he has deserved this part so much. He's so in love with Denji as a character. He loves this part. He loves all of y'all. I cannot say enough good things about that man. And then Sarah. Oh my gosh, Sarah. when you meet Sarah in real life, you realize that there is absolutely no one on this earth who could play Power besides her.
I love that.
She's our little gremlin, our little fairy. You know, she's got the little sister energy going. We love her so much. Susie, Makima, just queen is all I can say. No, she's wonderful, and it's amazing because I could be stuck, traveling from place to place and having to talk about this show with a bunch of people that I hate. And yet it's with like some of the most wonderful, amazing, talented, and just warm, kind people that I've met in my life. And I could not be happier about that. I could not be happier, meeting all of y'all. This is genuinely a dream come true. Yes, happy.
So true. No, yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's already kind of a dream role that you mentally, you're like, I shouldn't anticipate this, but you do anyways. And then to land it, not only land it, but be surrounded, because I mean, communities are communities, but there's always the occasion where you get a perfect situation and then you're there and you're like, I don't like the people I'm around. So it's difficult and it's hard to like set yourself up for something and then find out you're actually having a good time.
Exactly.
You actually want to see
it was so hard for that to sink in, yeah.
I can only imagine. I mean, relevant to that, did you realize that, have you done other animes where you kind of had a group of people and you were like, okay, did you end up with relationships through that?
The thing is, not really, because
we
never see each other. Yeah, we all record individually, and so basically, unless you are luckily at the studio at the same time, or you already know each other, you don't really get to meet the people you work with unless you go to conventions, and you don't go to conventions unless you have a really popular anime, right?
Oh, true.
So it can be a little bit tricky, but I also just the whole cavalcade of anime voice actors out there. I really only when it comes to people who I still respect, but hey, let's don't necessarily mesh as people. It's really only one or two folks. Everybody else is genuinely just really good people. It's oh wow, I could be surrounded by scumbags and I'm not, thank goodness.
Ooh, I was gonna say you're bold enough to name drop, but you know what? I won't do that to you. Damn right, you got the foot over here, let's go. Now the real conversation is starting, guys.
No, like I said, respect his colleagues, we don't need to be airing anything like that.
Respectable. You're choosing the right answer not only for you, but your social media for the next 2 years.
Agreed. Yeah.
Good choice. That's so fun. That's really great. I mean, I know that you've been involved in One Piece, and I know that's one of those animes where it's that's when people recognize. Did you realize and know that you were going to definitively, you were going to be a part of One Piece? Did you how was that process? Did you realize that was going to happen when it happened, or were you just oh shit, they want me for One Piece?
It was one of the first shows actually that I got to work on at Funimation. Of course, at that point, it's just little bit parts, just a little thing. And this was in the middle of the pandemic too. So I'm going into, I've been dreaming for years of going into the Funimation building, oh my gosh, it's almost time. And then it's in the middle of a pandemic. Literally nobody is in that building. It is almost completely empty. You walk up, the security person lets you in, you follow the arrows on the floor to your booth, and not even a director, there's no audio engineer there. You just step into that booth, put on the headphones, and you hear their voice in your head.
Your job was the back room.
Exactly.
That's
yes. That was exactly it, yes.
It's a wonder.
And so, you start off with just little bit things. And one of those little bit parts that didn't even have any lines was this, he's this big elephant guy, He's just kind of, where this thing is set. All you have to do is go, and I'm okay.
I love that for you. Perfect.
And then fast forward 102 episodes later, minor spoilers, and he's getting to be the WWE announcer for this huge cataclysmic event in the One Piece history, and I'm just oh God, I need to do this right.
Average One Piece storyline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it's so much fun. I am ashamed to admit One Piece isn't one of those shows that I was able to really get into at that time. I've grown to really, really appreciate it a lot more over the years, especially what it means. I also just I have only a certain number of hours in the day. But Emily Fajardo is an amazing director. She's doing such great work with One Piece nowadays, and she was able to get me up to speed like very quickly on all this stuff. Just the sheer passion that One Piece fans have is probably one of their most defining characteristics. I would say really sets them apart. Even just watching like the little bits that I have, like I can really see why. Like this is something that people really connect with.
Oh yeah, especially the longer they've been in it, it's like hard to back out. It's much harder. It's ingrained in them at that point.
Yeah, it's like you've already bet 5,000 on black. You might as well keep it.
Yeah, exactly. No, full savings account. Why not?
Exactly.
Well, since you've been here, have you been to Corpus before? Is this your first Corpus one?
First time.
Is this your first time in Corpus?
First time in Corpus.
Oh my goodness! Okay, have you enjoyed it?
Oh yeah. Oh, anytime I'm close to the ocean, no, I'm very happy.
Is that nice slow air?
Gosh.
So since you've been here and since you've had people come up to you and like come to your booth, have you, maybe aside from Chainsaw Man, have you had is there been a one specific thing that people keep coming up for and it's like something you didn't expect, or is it basically the same thing every single time?
Well, a lot of it will be for Chainsaw Man, of course, but when it came to A Sign of Affection, I enjoyed it a lot when I was reading it to prepare for the role, but I didn't really expect it to pop off in the way that it has, and people have been, really appreciative of it, and I really appreciate that. It's a really sweet show. It's one of the, I feel like one of the better romance animes to come out of the past year. And just the amount of care and compassion that those people have for that show, it's wonderful. It's great to see.
Yeah, I can imagine the smaller, more deep cut stuff. It's like the people that you do find that do know it lose their minds because you know it. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
We've had a few more people walk in since this panel's begun, so it is a sweet little reminder that it's open to Q&A. If you'll have questions, if you just want to say something, and then we'll be like, wow, that's crazy. Anything you want, your little heart desires, we've got them here for you. But continuing on that, as I'll let you guys look at that little mic, it's just waiting for you to say something. It's waiting. On that note, since it's your first time in Corpus, and I mean, you said that you haven't done that many Texas cons, have I heard?
There's increasingly a few in the past few months.
I can imagine.
But big state,
I mean, very large state. Has there been any standout cities that you've enjoyed the conventions for?
Oh, geez. I mean, quite a few. Obviously, I love all of y'all, but one that I really enjoyed was Calgary Expo up in Canada. If y'all don't know, Alberta is the province that that city is in, and it's basically the Texas of Canada. You land there and you feel like you're already all this stuff.
Significantly colder.
Just significantly colder, yes.
Nice.
But significantly quieter too. And you can I went out. I drove with Sarah Natashani, the current voice of Ash Ketchum. We drove out to Banff, which is a national park out there. Up in the mountains, you feel like you're driving through Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
And on the drive to and from there, this huge wide open land, almost no billboards at all. So I can look around and actually see things and not advertise to them. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, right? So, really sweet people there too. Yeah, I love it.
Nice. That's so sweet. I see we've got a little Miss Misa.
Wondering super unserious.
Oh, please do.
You got it.
Okay, first, I have a friend that lives in Calgary. I'm gonna go visit her next month.
Oh,
so that's
sweet.
crazy that you mentioned that. As a here.
Are you?
It happened.
Oh.
It happened.
Oh. There's a very specific lore behind that little object right there, and it has been designed
It's
today.
fine.
It is
I've had
interesting.
this for 2 years. This thing is completely.
I'm explaining the lore of this. It's
Yeah.
The ladybug vapor.
It is.
It's a
more
base, but
specific.
it's completely empty. It's just
Love
for decoration. And,
Just like me.
Yeah.
and now, and now it's a sign.
The reason that this is so deeply is important is because this little thing has been an on-running gag for so long.
2 years.
And earlier, she's waiting in line for since the con opened, and 30 minutes before, I'm like, I can't wait anymore. I gotta go. I'm managing these panels. She's like, I'm not waiting in line. It's okay.
Yeah.
She's waiting in line for the person who's gonna be on this panel. So then we're all shocked when the line gets cut off. Yeah. Well, I mean, actually,
you ended up here.
good segue on that note. Have you had any fan interactions that have been very bizarre and or strange?
Let me think. There have been a couple of young ladies who have told me a bit more than I needed to know about how much they enjoyed my performances.
Scan the audience for children. Oh, yeah, big cat.
Oh, geez. Let's see. Couple of people who would do well to learn the importance of the boundaries between fans and quote-unquote celebrities. That would be
I
nice.
love the term parasocial relationship. Woo! Only imagine.
It's one of the things that scares me the most.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gee, was there one in particular, really? Oh, there was this one guy who, not that it was really all that strange, but he asked all of us to sign in Sharpie on his body because he was going to try and break the Guinness World Record for most autographs tattooed on a person.
Oh.
So yeah, literally we signed him, and then like this guy leaves the convention. He comes back 15 minutes later, done.
Oh.
It's all good. It's just,
He did in the parking lot.
yeah, I guess so. It must have been I don't know how he teleported there and back. But
Yeah, no, he was ready.
Oh, very ready.
Doing it in the bathroom. Actually.
Yeah,
That's
was.
so cute. Wait, where was it? The lid?
Yeah, it was. I think right calf. I think.
Beautiful. That is, that is a pretty specific and notable memory to
Yeah.
have.
Mhm.
That was a convention with the entire cast, or was it just one where you
believe
had
so.
some friends with you? Is doing conventions the first time that you've been around your castmates?
Yep.
Wow. It's a bit strange to be like, oh hey, I've heard your voice for years.
Yes, it has. It really has been so strange because I literally the first time that I got to meet up with him, this is me little baby voice actor, totally new to this, very shy person also, and they tell me, hey, we want you to be at New York Comic-Con and do a panel and everything. This is my first convention, anything ever. I was
in New York Comic-Con.
it was terrifying. And so we meet up, and knowing that Ryan was going to be there was a very, it was a good thing for me. It was like, oh, good, an extrovert time behind.
Yes, exactly.
Right, yeah. And so we, of course, this is me, bouncing baby voice actor. We go with him and Mike McFarland and Christina V, and we all go see Beetlejuice together. Right, with Alex Brightman. Yeah, it was amazing. And then and then Mike takes us all to this dinner, and it's a whole who's who of, all these, famous anime people. I'm just like, I do not belong here.
Yeah, you're also there.
And
Love that.
right, yeah. While I'm sitting there, yeah. And so, I'm just sitting around all these people and just like, well, how is this my life? How is this real? And it was really sweet because afterwards, actually they were just on, Trina and Bryce, they were both
Little angels.
oh my gosh, so
Such
amazing.
yards.
They came up to me, no prompting whatsoever, they have barely any idea who I am. No reason that they should, take any interest whatsoever, but they come up and they're like, hey, how you doing? Are you feeling okay? Are you nervous? And we just talked about it for a while, and it was great because they basically were just telling me feel what you're feeling, but at the same time, remember, it's not about you. It's it's about what you can bring for them. They're interested in the same thing you are. You love Chainsaw Man, great. Just talk about that. And so that really helped me to calm down because I was a bit of a wreck.
Oh, been there. Understandable. Know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Shaking hard, you can't see straight.
Exactly.
Yes.
But it goes back to just what a wonderful community we have of actors and people being so supportive of one another.
Hello. Another question.
You said you did a lot of theater in college and stuff like
Yeah.
that. If you hadn't done voice acting, have you ever considered Broadway or something like that?
I really wanted to do Broadway when I was a kid, actually. If I was going to go get back into it, it would probably be in the opera scene because when you listen to your average Broadway musical, you don't hear a whole ton of people who sound like I do. Mostly that sticks with the more classical side. But yeah, I would definitely love to be doing some opera if the whole voice acting thing doesn't work out. I just need to get a lot better at reading music. My sight reading is so bad. But yeah, opera is great because it's a method of singing that involves basically using your whole body to sing. It's pretty intense, but I like my music intense, as you can probably tell. Yeah, no, I love it. Yes, I guess that's an answer to your question. Thank you.
Thank you. We're actually like on like the most perfect timing ever to wrap this up. Such a beautiful. If there's anybody else that had one little last minute question, anything you wanted to do, anything. Well, you know what? I asked all the questions. I am mad that I didn't ask that question. Actually, I'm like that one was pretty good. But that being said, if you would like to go say hi to Reagan, if you would like to ask more questions that you didn't get here, maybe you didn't have the gut yet, it's okay. Look how cool and chill he is. You want to say hi. You can go catch him over in the corner of the voice actors. Don't make that awkward face. Or you can catch him in the corner of the voice actors here for the rest of the day. And if we give one a loud, warm thank you so much, a little collab. Thank you for your time and your discussion. It's so sweet.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Next up at 3 p.m. there is a Taekwondo. So if you guys want to head out that back exit so these guys can get prepped for it. We'll see you then. Thank you.